Well, it was supposed to be RDA versus Fiziev, but that was
Ah,
moved
yeah.
because of visa issues. So now there's a new main event, which is Jamal Hill versus Johnny Walker. And Jamal Hill, he's um he's
Are
number
they coming off
12.
wins? Oh, Jamal
Yeah.
just beat Jimmy.
Yeah, and Johnny Walker is coming off a win also. He's number 10 and Hill's number 12. So it's a top 15 fight. They were training for a 3-rounder, and then last week because they had to switch up, RDA and what's his name, Fiziev. Now they're in a 5-rounder at light heavyweight. I feel like, does it matter in weight classes, you know what I mean? Like the rounds, like especially in preparation?
Um, it's not like too big of a shift. Like from
Mhm.
everyone I know and every different understanding. Um, like a 5 rounder is definitely tough on your body and your training camp just because you're adding those couple more rounds into sparring. You're adding the couple more rounds into your conditioning sessions. So a championship fight is definitely a little bit tougher on your opponent. But in terms of that, when both guys have the same amount of notice, then it's hard to say it's impossible to say one guy's got a bigger advantage than the other guy.
Mhm. What do you think about this matchup with Johnny Walker? This is Johnny Walker with SBG, Conor McGregor's camp. Not Conor McGregor's camp, John Kavanaugh's camp. You know what I mean? He's the head coach. He's been over there. A lot of people think that Walker has declined since he's been with them. I don't know. I think he's just coming out differently. And then there's Jamal Hill. You know what I mean? I feel like he's one of the rising stars in that light heavyweight division. What do you think?
Yeah, um, it's an exciting fight. It's definitely like an exciting matchup. I can't say I have studied either fighter
Mhm.
that in depth, just because Johnny Walker is just, I don't know, it's a very difficult fighter to study. Like he throws so much random shit and he's just very explosive. And so, yeah, like you can say like he's declined being at straight blast gym, but it's like what, like giving a guy a deeper understanding of the sport slows him down? Well, sometimes it does. You know what I mean? Like you see that with like a lot of like a youthful fighter versus a more experienced fighter.
Mhm.
Like a lot of experienced fighters have that experience and they have that knowledge. They've been knocked out. They've been submitted. Like they are a bit less fearless. Like
Mhm.
a undefeated fighter. It's like the Roxanne Casey fight. Like Casey's undefeated. She's 8-0. She's never tasted that. She's never tasted that defeat.
Mhm.
She's never tasted that loss. So she's just young and she's fearless and she can just go after it. It's the same. I feel like it's the same as in coaching. Like my coach Eugene, like he's of the opinion, like to be a high level coach or world class coach, you have to have been a fighter or you have to have that experience. Um, and then you because you don't see it with some of these guys like Eric from Extreme Couture, right? Like he'd never been like a fighter or like high level experience in any combat sports, but it's like him as a coach is fearless. Like that guy's
Mhm.
never been choked unconscious in front of 100 million people or a million people or 1,000 people or 100 people. That guy's never been knocked out on live TV. That guy's never been knocked out in front of his friends and family. Like that's why you can go in the corner and tell a fighter, you need to eat some shots and wear this and go for it because you've never tasted that. Like you don't know how dangerous that is. Like Eugene as a coach is a bit more, like more defensive because he's been in those tough spots and he's seen it happen to people. So of course you're going to be more hesitant in sending people you care about out into the fire like that. So I
Mhm.
feel like there are pros of that and then there are cons of that as well.
Definitely, and my assessment of Johnny Walker since he's been to SBG or BGS or I forgot, is that he has added some tools to his belt. You know what I mean, that he didn't have before, and a lot of people point to him losing his edge, and maybe like you said, it is just something of him, kind of being more comfortable and and more calculated in his approach because sometimes it's more important. to win than it is to just entertain people. You know what I mean? Because going out there and getting into a brawl,
without a shadow of a doubt, it's
yeah,
more important to win
yeah. But it's like
than to
going in there out
entertain.
there,
Like,
yeah. And I think people point to that too much. You know what I mean? Like going out there to brawl every single time. Yeah, we love it because we're idiots. But at the same time, it's like I understand when a fighter switches things up and needs to get this win and kind of changes
100%.
things up. You know what I mean? I understand it. And I'm not gonna ever, ever like down somebody or attack somebody for that. And I'll praise somebody for going out there getting brawls at the same time, man. I don't give a shit. Like I love it too. You know what I mean? Like there's many aspects of the sport and many different types of fighters. So I'll praise them for what they contribute. And I think a lot of people forgot that. And maybe that could get into Johnny Walker's head heading into this fight, that he's heard the people online kind of doubting his killer instinct anymore. But he's gonna need it in this fight, dude. Jamahal Hill comes to bang, dude. The dude is like
Mm.
he reminds me of like a dude that can really fight in the street, and then he took that ability and went into the gym and kind of crafted that into something that he could use in competitive fighting, and he's been
Yo,
successful, man. I love it.
he's got it. Nah, he's man, he's got some good hands on him. That performance against Jimmy Crew
Mhm.
was pretty incredible. You know, Jimmy's an absolute beast, and he got the win over him. So it's an exciting main event for sure.
Jim Miller, man, he's fighting again next week. Man,
Nice.
he's a guy that just has found the
He's an
fountain of
animal.
youth. And yeah, he's an
He's an
animal. Like, what do
animal.
you think of him
He's an
just
animal.
continuing and just beating the shit out of people too?
He's an animal. He's an animal. He's an absolute weapon. He's an absolute beast. I have nothing but absolute admiration for Jamila. I feel like that's why it was such an honor to compete. But that's like what it used to be. Like when I started, like everyone would consider like the best guy in the world, the guy that's been doing it at the highest level for the longest period of time.
Mhm.
That's who used to be like considered, oh man, that guy's the man. He's been at the top echelon for the last 10 years and doing well and competing. Like that's who everyone thought he was the man. Like it's only in recent years that it's changed to like, oh, this guy's never been beaten. He's the man.
Mhm.
Like it's that I feel like is not it's not the same. Like if you're competing at the highest level for a decade, like that is far more impressive to me than a guy who's had a 2 year career but he's never been beaten. Like that to me is not the same thing. So I have nothing but admiration for Jim.
What were your interactions with him like when you were around him? Or did you talk to him for a short period or anything like that?
Um, like super chill guy. Like it was quite funny because you see Jim in the cage and like walking out, and he's like an intense guy. Like he
Mhm.
brings that heat, he brings that energy. You can see like he really has just a love for getting out there and fighting people and hurting people. Like that's just what he loves to do. And like leading into our fight, you know, he didn't say like nothing. So I'm obviously not going to say anything because I have nothing but respect for him. Um, and then I saw him at the hotel, you know, shook his hand, and I seen him at the weigh-ins, face off, and I remember like looking in his eyes, and he was kind of just like had like a bit of a bored look on his face, and he was like not interested in wasting energy on it. And I was like, man, where's the Jim Miller that I've been watching my whole
Mhm.
life? Like, where's that guy? I was thinking, man, is he still, is he still there? And then I remember, like, I think I walked out first. I walked first. Then Jim came in, and it was Jim Miller. It was him. It was Jim. Like he's storming backwards and forwards in the cage, just staring at me like with the snarl look on his face, like he wanted to kill me. And I was just like, this is the guy. I was like, that's the guy that I want to fight. I don't want to fight poor Jim Miller. I want to fight that guy right there. And he's here. He's finally here. Like, and it was cool to see, and it was a quite an eye-opening experience that like he just saves it for the cage.
Mhm.
Like he don't waste his time on interviews, and he don't waste his time trying to convince people to like him or think he's cool. He doesn't waste his time trying to intimidate his opponents or look in their eyes or stare them down or anything like that. Like, he saves every last ounce of his energy for when it gets for when you touch gloves and it's time to get to scrapping. So absolute savage.
Thank you guys for watching the video to the end. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. We got a lot of things in the works, so please stay tuned.